my
Yes, sir.
affidavit like it didn't exist.
I have heard those arguments, sovereign citizen, multiple times.
No, sir. I didn't say sovereign citizen. I said a sovereign principal.
Sovereign principal. Okay.
In this video, a courtroom dispute unfolds over a tax foreclosure eviction. The judge dismisses the case due to an improperly served notice, while the occupant challenges the eviction with sovereign claims. Here's the interaction.
Okay, we're going back to the trials now. Frederick Falcon versus James Larry Warnke.
Give this to the judge, sir.
Mr. Falcon, this is your case. So what is it you're asking to the court?
We purchased the house through tax deed auction, and we're just asking occupants to vacate the property.
A tax foreclosure sale?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I see a copy of your sheriff's deed. You had it attached to the petition, and you purchased this on the first Tuesday of November. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And after you purchased the property, I guess you realized it was occupied and you served a notice to vacate. It says hand delivered.
Just with us know.
And by hand delivered, do you mean you actually handed it to him?
We tried to. There's a lot of signage up at the property. It's very intimidating. Gun, don't trespass, knocked on the door, left the letter.
Where did you leave it?
Front door.
It says hand delivered. Okay. But you didn't hand it to anyone.
No one refused to answer.
Sir?
No one answered. No one answered.
So you just stuck the notice on the outside of the door?
Stuck it in the door.
In the door. Not on the inside of the door.
Through the crack.
Through the crack.
Went in the house.
Okay, let me hear from you.
I never did see it.
Okay,
But
what's your opposition to this eviction?
I've got an unrebutted affidavit I sent to the Albert Uresti tax assessor around 2021. He didn't rebut it. So an unrebutted affidavit, as far as I know, it's a maxim of law. It stands as the truth of the matter. The truth of the matter is I don't know property taxes because I declared my house private property, and private property is not subject to, only real estate is subject to income property taxes. So that's what I couldn't understand, how they just went around an unrebutted affidavit like it was nothing.
Okay. So what you have is an issue of title, and I don't have authority to hear any issues of title. Okay? Not within my jurisdiction. You'd have to do that in a different courtroom. Okay. But for today's purposes, you got very lucky because the way you served the notice to vacate doesn't comply with Texas law. You can't just stick it in the door.
Okay.
You have to put it on the inside of the main entry door. You have to look at Texas Property Code,
what do we do?
Section 24.
What if we do if he's not answering or not?
Well, that's what I'm telling you. Either hire an attorney or read Texas Property Code Section 24, and it's very specific as to how the notice has to be delivered. Now, the law is clear. It has to be delivered in certain ways, but it doesn't say they have to actually receive it. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Because I've had people say, I emailed it. Well, that didn't count under the law. You know, there's ways you have to serve it. And based on your testimony as to how you served it, it's not one of the legal ways to serve the notice to vacate.
Would I be able to serve the notice now?
I can't give you legal advice. This case is going to be dismissed because the notice to vacate was not properly served, and you're going to have to start over. And so I would suggest we speak with an attorney about your title issue, if that's going to be your.
I've got another unrebutted affidavit here called the Executor's Entitlement Land Title, where I own the land.
Okay.
Under that house.
I cannot determine who owns the land. I can only determine who has the superior right to immediate possession. That's the only issue before this court.
Well, hey,
that's the only issue I can address.
Let me stop all this then. Let me just give him the house. I've already vacated. I've got another place to live, and I just want to settle this. After the reset that's coming up, we're going to have a global reset. I'm going to get the house back because I own the land. Okay. I'm a sovereign principal. I'm not a U.S. citizen. U.S. citizens can't own land. Yes. On a deed, a Texas deed, it says they're a tenant in peaceful possession. a renter. I'm not a renter. I own the land. And I don't own the house. He supposedly does because they just went around and my
Yes, sir.
affidavit like it didn't exist.
I have heard those arguments, sovereign
Hey,
citizen, multiple times.
No, sir. I didn't say sovereign citizen. I said a sovereign principal. That's a
Sovereign
big
principle.
difference.
Okay.
I'm indexed through the Universal Will Court in Fort Worth, Texas, Judge Henderson. I can own land.
Okay. But those issues, I cannot hear those issues.
Okay.
This court
Well,
does not
you
have
just give the
jurisdiction.
house in?
So are we in judgment then if you've?
I can't give you a judgment because you didn't properly serve, but he's telling you he's surrendering the house. You give him the keys and that's official surrender of the house.
Okay.
Okay. And then you probably don't have to file anything. You don't have to come back. You're going to get your house.
I'm doing him a favor. I want to
You
be
are.
done with this.
Yes,
I'm going to get the house back
Okay.
after the reset.